Whew. Morning, gang. What's up, guys? Stevie with Scotch and Things. Hey, I think today we're going to talk hard use work knives or hard use, what I carried at work this year mostly. I'm missing some. These are just knives that were in my pocket a majority of the time, or representations of a knife that was in my pocket for most of the year. I know people like to throw around the term hard use, right? And I consider myself a hard use knife guy while I'm on the job site. And to be honest, I've shown it with what my guys carry. I mean, a knife's a knife, right? Any knife will do. You don't need to spend a ton of money to have a decent knife on the job. It just depending, I mean, it just goes down to like breaking tips off and, excuse me, drinking some coffee. Just blade thickness, really, right? I mean, they're using thinner, like eventually I'm gonna break this knife like in half before I break this one in half, right? So let's just I'm just gonna trying to think. There's some missing, right? I lost the Medford Fighter Flipper and the Medford Fat Daddy. But and there was an SNG. I carried a Monkey Edge Frag SNG for quite a while. Oh shoot, I'm missing one. It's upstairs. All right, pretend there's a Microtech SOCOM Elite manual right here. Dang it. I got it. Dang. Got it from Mark, and I carry that thing in my left-hand pocket, because the clip is swapped. And I carry that in my left-hand pocket quite a bit. I carry two knives always on work, so like I said, yeah, that Microtech is always in my left-hand pocket, or most of the time. Otherwise, I carry, the Sebenza. There's just always two, okay? Yeah, I even carry, the Shiro. I carried this a lot this year. It's dirty. The edge held up pretty well. Didn't do anything crazy with it, just cutting on a lot of boxes and plastic with it. This only made an appearance for the last week, but up until that, I lost. Oh, yeah, I talked about the two Medfords I lost. I also lost the Tanto Strider SMF. So that was in my pocket a lot this year. Project X was great. It's got some chips in it. Started the year, I mean, so everything's been in, yeah, even a true custom knife was in my pocket at work this year. So I'm just going to kind of hit them right now and what I like about them. This one, you guys, if you watch the unboxing, I carried this basically for like the last month and a half, 2 months. It does, I mean, look at it, right? It's a tank. It does everything you're going to need it to do. Really surprised how well the Vulcan finish, you can kind of see where it's starting to wear, where I was jamming it into crates and prying, is wearing on traction areas. Anos fading, but the edge is still sharp as the day I got it. This thing, I'm really happy with this thing on the job site. I pulled it out one day and my guys were like, what? It's a huge, it'd be like carrying a fixed blade for them. But, it is thick. It is a monster, but it performed great, and I really like carrying it. You know what? The XM24, guys, one of my favorite carries. I would say this and the kind of something on the blade right there. This and the SMF are probably would be my two favorite work carries. So swapped out the full tie. Finally got the blade. I've carried XM24s before with the Bowie at work. Finally got a Spanto. Works out great. S45. I know people like to bag on Hinder for heat treat and whatnot. Same thing though. They'll bag on you know, you hear someone say something, but if you don't experience yourself, you don't know what you're talking about. All right. Let's just be blunt about it. I was in a live this weekend, and people run their mouths sometimes just to run their mouths. They hear, and it's like, well, I heard this or I heard that. Well, experience it or don't speak on it. This thing is cut plastic, and what's crazy is the edge is still, I mean, there's something, right? It just looks like a shiny spot. The edge is held up great, but what I don't get is, okay, so obviously this isn't going to work. The tie isn't going to work. But with, let's say, a knife like this or an SMF, do you see these? This is the only knife that did it this year, which is crazy because I treated the edge just as bad. But do you see how the spine is all nicked up? That's from trying to get sockets off an impact. When they get hot, they're hard to get off. I mean, you can't, not hot to touch, but they just don't want to, like, you put it in reverse and if you zip it and pull the impact off. And it's easier with a long impact when you're using a long socket because you can get more grip on there. With the shorter sockets, it's impossible sometimes. Whoops. So what I do, and it's probably not the best, but hey, it works. You don't have time to sit there and mess around. I don't know what's going on my tripod, guys. This thing it's seen its last day. There we go. But I'll take the spine of my knife and put the impact in reverse, zip it and pry off like that. So that chuck going around just kind of crazy that it beats up the spine, but this edge has come into contact with metal, and really I can kind of feel it right up here. There might be a chip. Not really. So yeah, the edge is held up perfect, cutting thick plastic and like I said, coming in contact with metal, but the spine surprisingly got dinged up. So, of course, the Sawtooth, love carrying a recurve. Just, I mean, what can you say? Just a beast of a knife, fun to carry. Yeah, I did carry the Shiro, like I said. Did it do prying? No. Did it cut plastic? Yeah. Did it cut boxes? Yeah. Same thing with, the Rogovitz, what's this thing called? Kentucky Special. You can see it gets dinged up in areas. SMF, I can't say enough things about having an SMF, be it an SMF this or an SMF Tanto. I like the Tanto on the job site. I just like a thicker tip for when I'm prying, guys. I'm a Strider fanboy. On the job site, if I could only have one, it would be an SMF. I could carry this knife every day at work and I'd be fine. Chris Reeve, started last year carrying Chris Reeve, 2 years ago actually, sorry, carried my wounds on. Then just started throwing stuff in my pocket. And SMFs, I carried a bunch of different SMFs on the job this year, like I said. Once I lost that one, hell, I even carried this one a couple days on the job. Double gunner grip SMF. I just started carrying what I had because I missed the SMF so much. Chris Reeve. This is my Pa Benza. This one I'll throw in my left-hand pocket quite a bit. It's nice to have a thinner, really slicey knife sometimes on the job site. I mentioned this last year. I tried prying with a Chris Reeve, and I think you could, but it started, because it's just a thinner blade stock. I started prying this crate and the blade started kind of going, so I just stopped. So I know what they're used for, right? That being said, though, tip is gone. Tips go on right away on most of my work knives for some reason. The tips just, if they're not tough, they go. So you can see this thing's carried and loved and been dropped, and great work knife. I don't know, it's a Sebenza, right? Carried this quite a bit this summer after I lost those knives. The working finish is great. You can kind of see, I think it shows a little bit more wear than like the Stonewash does. Stonewash, you can see on there, the Stonewash shows like gunk from tape and whatnot. and you'd have to scratch it pretty good. But like just going through like cardboard and stuff will mark up the working finish. Not permanent, but you can see where stuff passed. You start to get a wear path from cutting. So yeah, guys, here are my hard use work knives. Any knife can be a hard use work knife, right? You can take any knife. Is this knife's tip gonna last as long as this knife's tip while prying? No, probably not. But does it handle all the cutting tasks fine? Absolutely. This will cut anything that'll cut. Probably better sometimes. But you need to know, like I like to have, use a pry bar. You know what? I don't want a bunch of crap in my pockets. If I want to pry with my knife, I'm going to pry with my knife. And the ones I trust to pry with are obviously this one. I pried with, this one, the Medford, the Strider. It's got to have a little bit thicker blade stock to pry with. Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit thicker. And the Kentucky Special, like, it's a fun knife to carry. The clip isn't always the greatest to get in and out, but so yeah, that's what I carried this year on the job. Sometimes there were some others in the pocket, but mostly it was, these were sorry, I'm messing around with the Kentucky Special. This is what was in my pocket. So, very cool. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. There probably was, guys. Like, I cycled through a bunch of stuff, but this is what's gonna run through the rotation next year, and I'm pretty happy with these. I don't need to, I think I'm pretty good on like where I am work knife wise. To have this is my go-to. Hey, let's go to work knife. Like, we are leaving tomorrow, and I'll probably throw the SMF. I'll probably take these two tomorrow, just to end out the year. One last job. So yeah, really happy with my kind of work knife collection right now. So that's all I got for you. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you later.